and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1944B, and today's date is August 15th, 2019, and the title of the episode is C Before D, It's Getting Ready to Blow. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about being prepared. Every day, we see the deep state pushing events. Who knows what the next event will be or what they will try next? We are now in a cycle of strange weather patterns, earthquakes, hurricanes, and more. Almost every American is at risk in some form. This is why I prepare with My Patriot Supply. Right now, save 50% on a 2-week emergency food kit. The 2-week food kit includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. Give yourself a peace of mind and save 50% on my special website, preparewithx22.com. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, before I get started, I just want to mention that the x22report.com site, well, it was hacked, and the hosting company said that it's too far gone and they can't allow the site to be up. The good news is that I have been working on a brand new site. It is almost finished. I have to put the finishing touches on it, and I'll be bringing that up in a couple of days. So there will be a time period where you will not see the x22report.com site. But to view the reports and listen to them, you can go to my Twitter account, which is twitter.com/x22report, or go to YouTube and just type in x22report, or go to Steemit and just type in x22report, and you'll be able to listen to the x22 report on all these platforms. And when the site comes back up, yes, once again, you'll be able to listen to it on the site. Now, the deep state, they are panicking like we've never seen before. How do we know this? Well, they don't come out and say, "Ooh, I'm panicking." What happens here is they start to tweet out. They start to expose themselves, and they try to get ahead of what is coming. And this is exactly what Adam Schiff and many others are doing. And we're watching all of this happen in real time. Adam Schiff, he's been tweeting out about deepfake videos. And his recent tweet is the following. This video is a testament to the rapid advancement of deepfake technology. But beneath the humor, the nearly imperceptible shifts between faces reveal an undeniable fact. It's now harder than ever to discern fact from fiction, and that poses a serious threat to our democracy. Think about why he's saying this. He's letting us know that you will not be able to tell the difference between a real video and a fake video. Well, that's completely false, because the same AI technology that allows you to morph the faces, that same technology can detect what is real and what is fake. And there are certain professors that are developing this and scientists that are developing this, and I do believe the NSA has the ability already to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. But the reason why he's doing this is because he knows very, very soon all this information about Epstein, about the D-Class, about FISA, it's all about to drop. And we're going to see video. We're going to see pictures. We're going to see documentation. And they're going to try to use the argument that these are deep fake videos. These people in this video, they're not them. I mean, we need to go back to post 868. Now, Q back then gave us, here comes the fake videos. This is from the New York Times. This is when they started it. I mean, if we go back, this is March 4th, 2018. And Q says, try as they might, fail they will. No free passes. Mainstream media, and that is in all bold caps and in kill brackets. And right there and then, you can see that they already know that they're planning on this. So if they told us that they were going to start to tweet out and the mainstream media was going to put out these articles, they're already prepared to counter this argument. Now, very interestingly, the deep state IRS analyst John Fry, he pleaded guilty to leaking Michael Cohen's bank records to Michael Avenatti and the New Yorker. Now, he did this believing he was doing the right thing. But guess what? He broke the law. So he chose politics over the rule of law. And now he's being sentenced. And he faces up to 5 years in prison. Remember, times are changing. Before, yes, the rule of law didn't mean anything to those people. They just got off scot-free. But today, the rule of law means something. Now, we're hearing that officers are leaving the CIA. I mean, we heard this before, but let's first go to Mary Beth Long's tweet. And it says, rumors flying. Officers leaving from CIA report on all hands stop-loss message received from the director. The first anyone can recall, at least while the country not in active combat. Personnel loss has reached a critical stage. Now, this is very interesting because in post 129, this is November 9th, 2017, Q posted closing act. Now, the word closing has CIA in caps in kill brackets. So that's CIA dismantled. Impossible to clean. Operations with an arrow. No such agency. Q NSA. So from this post, Q is letting us know that CIA is going to be dismantled. And it's very odd and very strange that officers are now leaving the CIA. Boom. Now, as we know, Trump, Giuliani, Solomon, they all reported on the subject matter regarding Biden and his son Hunter in Ukraine and China, where they made a lot of money. They made millions of dollars. Remember, there was a regime change in Ukraine, and back during this period of time, we reported on it, saying that this was a planned regime change. And as soon as it was over, all of a sudden, Hunter Biden went onto the board of directors of the gas companies in Ukraine. And so did John Kerry's roommate. And now, we've heard Giuliani talk about Ukraine. We heard Trump talk about Ukraine. John Solomon reported on Ukraine. And Chuck Grassley wants this investigated. He wrote a letter to Mnuchin to investigate Hunter Biden. It has begun. Biden is going to be in trouble. He's already in trouble. Everyone's saying he's losing it. A lot of things that he says don't even make sense. I don't think he's going to be in the running that much longer. I do believe that the walls are closing in on him, and eventually he's going to say, I'm out. We'll have to see how this plays out. Notice how the Patriots are dripping out the information. We are seeing a lot more of it. They're bringing the American people up to speed, and they want them to get used to hearing all the player names over and over and over, because once the time comes, they're going to remember all these names. It will be in their subconscious, and this is why they're doing it. Now, what's very interesting, Adam Lovinger, a former Defense Department analyst, never expected that what he stumbled on during his final months at the Pentagon would expose an integral player in the FBI's handling of Trump's campaign and alleged Russian collusion. Now, Lovinger, he's a whistleblower, and he's battling to save his career. The Pentagon suspended his top secret security clearance on May 1st, 2017, when he exposed through an internal review that Stefan Halper, who was then a Cambridge professor, had received roughly $1 million in taxpayer-funded money to write Defense Department foreign policy reports. Before Lovinger's clearance was suspended, he had taken a detail to the National Security Council as a senior director for strategy. He was only there for 5 months before he was recalled to the Pentagon, stripped of his prestigious White House detail, and ordered to perform bureaucratic make-work in Pentagon Annex, the land of misfit toys. So his security clearance was eventually revoked in March 2018, despite the Pentagon refusing to turn over a single page of its purported evidence of Lovinger's wrongdoing. Was he on to something? Yes, he was. When Mr. Lovinger raised concerns about the Department of Justice misuse of Stefan Halper in 2016, he did so without any political designs or knowledge of Mr. Halper's spying activities. He unwittingly shined a spotlight on the deep state secret weapon, Stefan Halper, and threatened to expose the truth about the Trump-Russia collusion narrative back in 2016. And I feel that they believe that he was getting too close, and if he kept probing into Stefan Halper and into what was going on, he would have exposed the entire thing. And I do believe this is why he was stripped of his security clearance at this time. Now, Judicial Watch, they have released 72 pages of documents from the Department of Justice containing Russian-related emails sent from Nellie Ohr to one of her Department of Justice husband's underlings. Nellie Ohr was emailing a top Department of Justice official named Lisa Holton, while Ohr was being paid by opera research firm Fusion GPS. The emails reveal Nellie Ohr was providing the Department of Justice with the same kind of anti-Trump Russia opera research she was doing for Fusion GPS. And just like Tom Fitton said, Nellie Ohr may as well had a desk at the Justice Department. All these individuals, they're being caught up in the documentation, the emails, the text messages, because they never thought she was going to lose. And this brings us to Hillary Clinton. This brings us to her emails. And what's very interesting is that more and more of this information is being brought out into the open. They're dripping the information so people understand what was going on. Yes, we all understand because we've been following this for a very long time. But the people who have been sleeping, they need proof. They need to be shown facts. So with the Freedom of Information Act and all these requests that are coming out now, these are the facts that people can use to show people, to say, look, this is why Clinton was let off of the whole email scandal. We have more information now. So with this recent Freedom of Information request by attorney Ty Clevenger, it resulted in a plethora of new and unredacted information concerning the actions of the corrupt FBI and Department of Justice, where they tried to cover up, which they did cover up during this period of time, and exonerate Hillary Clinton's email crimes. What was released was truly shocking. The Department of Justice and Clinton Mills lawyers, Miss Wilkinson, jointly drafted an agreement with the FBI that showed anything but a fair and honest investigation into Hillary's email crimes. That agreement the FBI made with the Department of Justice limited the search parameters to months, not years. The FBI could only search for 4 Clinton email addresses, regardless if the email address was later altered to some other address. No emails from Cheryl Mills were permitted to be searched. This ensured that no emails covering the destruction of evidence was even permitted to be examined. The FBI agreed to perform an investigation where they weren't even allowed to look at the evidence. Next, while still being under preservation order, Clinton just arbitrarily decided to change email retention policies and delete all emails older than 60 days, which amounted to all emails from January 2009 through October 2014 to be deleted. The FBI agreed not to examine any evidence surrounding the BleachBit event, despite the fact that the FBI knew about the BleachBit event before agreeing to this. Add on top of all of this, the FBI agreed to delete any evidence they encountered that was outside the agreed parameters. And then, of course, the FBI destroyed the laptops. In addition, if the headers for the BlackBerry emails were missing a date, those emails were excluded from the investigation as well. Then, on top of all this, immunity agreements were given to anyone connected with Hillary. 2 of Brian Pagliano, 1 for Paul Combetta, 1 for John Bentel, 1 for Cheryl Mills, 1 for Heather Samuelson. Then we find out the following. All but 4 of the 30,490 emails from Hillary Clinton's unauthorized email server were forwarded to a private Google email address featuring a name similar to a Chinese company. Virtually every email that was sent to and from the Clinton email server was forwarded to carterheavyindustries@gmail.com, which raised concerns for a foreign actor which gained access to Clinton emails after an intelligence community inspector general investigator searched Google for Carter Heavy Industries and came up with a result for Shandong Carter Heavy Industry Company Ltd., and this is according to the documents. Shandong Carter Heavy Industry is a Chinese manufacturer of excavators and heavy machinery. Now, this is odd. Why would this happen? Why would everything be forwarded to this? Was this how they were selling information, committing treason? Frank Rucker, the ICIG investigator, and Jeanette McMillan, an ICIG attorney, told the FBI about the anomaly on February 18, 2016, at a meeting which included Peter Strzok, who had just taken over as the section chief heading the investigation. Rucker told Congress that Strzok was aloof and dismissive and didn't ask many questions. So what's very odd is, why wasn't anyone concerned with this? These people were telling them, but nobody cared because they wanted to make sure that she won the election. McMillan told Congress that her understanding of the Carter Heavy Industry email address was that it was a drop box to which the emails from Clinton server were sent in real time. Even if you didn't address an email to this address, the email went there anyway. So it looked at the metadata information, and said, okay, forward it to this email address. In the olden days, what they used to do when they were selling secrets to different countries, they, sit down at a park bench, they take a piece of chalk, they mark an X, they put the package, maybe under a bush. Someone would come by later, pick up the package, and they would have the information. Today, all you have to do is create an unsecure server, allow foreign individuals to access the unsecure server, and have emails forwarded to a different address automatically. I mean, it's the same type of crime here. It's called treason. And all this information is now coming out. Why was it withheld? Why didn't they investigate? Because they wanted her to win the election. They were covering for her. And it's all coming out now. People are starting to learn. Now, if you just told people that she was doing this in the past, people would say, hey, you're crazy. But now, since the Freedom of Information requests came in, and they're documented, and people can see them, it's a different story, isn't it? Now, as we know, the deep state uses ammunition to change the news cycle. But as we know from Q, ammunition is hard to come by. I do believe right now that they're out of ammunition, the deep state. It takes a while to plan these certain events. And just recently, which is yesterday, there was a shooting incident in Philadelphia. And it was funny because all the mainstream media, they were covering it and they were all looking at it, and this is terrible. And it was a terrible thing. 6 police officers got shot. But it didn't fit their narrative, because the person who had the weapon was a criminal. So how did they get the weapon? I don't think this individual would be able to breeze through a background check to get the weapon. So this individual must be getting the weapons from someplace else, but they don't want to talk about that. And I noticed today, guess what? They're really not talking about it. Yes, while this was going on, Kamala Harris and the rest saying, oh, if I was president, I'd be going door to door and this wouldn't happen. Yeah, if you went door to door, that person trying to get the weapon, they'd be shot. That's what would happen. And again, that is against the Second Amendment anyhow. But what's very interesting is I think what the deep state's going to do to try to keep this whole gun control thing out there, I think they're going to try to pick up on every little shooting that's going on. And if it's not what they want, they're just going to drop it. And they're going to try to keep the gun thing going and trying to keep it in people's minds. But I don't believe it's going to work. I think it's going to fail. Donald Trump tweeted out the following. The Philadelphia shooter should never have been allowed to be on the streets. He had a long and very dangerous criminal record. Looked like he was having a good time after his capture and after wounding so many police. Long sentence. Must get much tougher on street crime. And he did. He had a lengthy history of gun convictions. He had convictions of other street crimes with drug sales, assault and resisting law enforcement, and many other things. So this was a criminal who had a weapon. And you know he didn't go through the proper channels where he went through a background check. The FBI checked him out and he got a weapon. He got his weapon in other ways. Think about prohibition when you think about all this gun control talk. When they got rid of alcohol in the United States, does anyone really believe there wasn't alcohol out there? No, it just moved to the black markets. They made a fortune. Isn't that how the Kennedys made their fortune? And yes, the elite, they were drinking alcohol. Just because you think it's banned, it is not banned. Listen, drugs are banned. Are they still out there? Yes. Remember what this is all about. This is about creating a gun database. So when the time was right, they could collect all the weapons from law-abiding citizens. This is why John Kerry brought in the UN Arms Treaty. The Senate never passed it. Obama would sign it. And within this UN Arms Treaty, it was to create universal background and to have a gun registry database. If you notice, they're trying to continue with this because they do believe that they're going to be in power once again and they'll continue on with their agenda. But they're sadly mistaken. Now, the autopsy for Jeffrey Epstein, it came out and it revealed that he had several broken bones in his neck. Now, the autopsy found that Epstein suffered several broken bones in his neck, including the hyoid bone that is regularly broken during strangulation or homicide. Now, Dr. Mark Siegel explained this all, and he went on to say, it certainly increased the chances that this was a murder than a suicide. Let me tell you why. The hyoid bone, which is right here in the neck, it's a U-shaped bone. In his case, the autopsy is now revealing that multiple bones were broken in his neck, including the hyoid bone. The hyoid bone might break in strangulation about 1/3 to 1/2 of the time. In suicide, hanging, it might break 6 to 10% of the time, depending on which study you look at. Much less percentage, but in order to break that bone and multiple bones in the neck, you have to exert a lot of force if it's a hanging. Now, think about this. He's on a bunk bed with a sheet. How much force do you think he had when he was on his knees? No, there was not a lot of force. And this is why they're saying, oh, it looks like he had some assistance. And again, we kind of all knew this. Where are the videotapes? What was really going on? It doesn't make sense. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, he shipped a $50,000 cement trunk to his island. And he did this last November 7th. Why did he have a cement trunk there? Well, Q actually let us know on April 3rd, 2018. This is post 999, and this is what it says. Why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury the tunnels underneath the temple on Epstein Island? Problem? Phones were allowed in. These people are stupid. Q. So think about it. Epstein realized that he was being investigated, He decided to bring in a cement trunk. He paid extra to have it there, and they figured, let's cement everything over to get rid of all the evidence. Now remember, FISA works both ways. Remember, everyone that entered had a phone. The entire place was videotaping everyone. You don't think they have all the evidence they need already? Q is letting us know that these people are stupid. Now let's look at a complete list, and this is thanks to the Gateway Pundit. They broke it down of all the anomalies surrounding Epstein. Number one, Epstein said he was considering cooperating in naming names in his international sex ring. He was found unconscious in his prison cell just 3 weeks earlier. 2 days prior to his death, documents released for the first time implicated several top Democrats in his pedo sex ring. He was taken off suicide watch after a failed attempt just 2 weeks earlier. That's where they set up the stage that, he's suicidal. He was in isolation, unusual for a suicidal individual. The cameras malfunctioned. There is no video. Even Mexico had a video of El Chapo's escape from prison. It's funny, their cameras worked. Then later, we hear the camera showed the guards did not do rounds. Which is it? The prison guards had worked several extra shifts last week. One prison guard on his floor was not even a certified guard. The prison guards forgot to check on Epstein. The prison guards slept through their shift. The guards did not check Epstein for several hours. There were reports of screaming the morning Epstein died. The MCC had not seen a successful suicide in 40 years. Epstein said he was the victim of attempted murder 3 weeks ago. Epstein's former roommate is facing mass murder charges. Epstein had dirt on numerous globalist elites. Epstein was not given paper sheets. Epstein had sheets in his cell to hang himself. Epstein was not suicidal according to medical professionals. Epstein told his lawyers on Friday, a day before his death, "See you Sunday." Epstein's former roommate heard nothing. Epstein's reportedly had to get on his knees to hang himself from his bed. Epstein's autopsy showed broken bones in neck, common in strangulation deaths. And when you look at all this, you can see that this was a planned hit from the beginning to the end. And they can call it a suicide. They can call it whatever they want. But think about this for a second. What are the odds of all of this happening the way it happened? Think about that for a second. Logical thinking. Q has always told us to use logical thinking. Don't believe the mainstream media. Don't believe the headlines. Look at it. Observe it. Research it. Then think to yourself, does this make any sense whatsoever? No, it doesn't. Now, today is the official resignation of Coates. And this brings us back to post 3570. Q says, C before D. Coates before D class. The month of August is traditionally very hot. You have more than you know. Well, C just happened. What's next? D class. Everything is about to blow. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Braka them. So, looking at some things here, and just the fact that you know that this technology has already been out there. So Dave Hodges, the X22 report, is putting it out there that you wouldn't be able to tell the fake videos from the real ones. Well, this ain't the first time they've used fake videos. I mean, look at all the shit the white helmets have done to set up Bashar al-Assad, to say that Assad gassed his own people or waged warfare on his own people. So they've been doing it for years. It's just that now they're starting to do it more over here, like Jeffrey Epstein's body being faked, and Chris Green saying he's in protective custody, and these people never face trial. But Esau will not go altogether unpunished. I mean, that's why I did the two-part videos. So it looks like for right now, he's not going to testify that got him hidden, you know, all that. Because Esau, doesn't like to face the music. But most of all, what's happened, though, especially with this latest shooting, which you can see that we were set up, by calling us black identity extremists. And again, most of our camps, you have, Israel, Yasha Allah is a speckled bird. So not just all blacks. We're not black only Israelites. We're not black identity extremists, but that's the label that Esau's trying to use, which is why ISUPK has been in their facade. That's why they feature ISUPK in movies and everything else, trying to give us that Black Panther image. We're not even talking about being black. We're not talking about the white man this, the black man that. No, man. We just talk about Jacob and Esau. We bring out the scriptures, and we let our people know what time that they're in. And, that the time to repent is getting shorter and shorter. Meaning this mercy is only for a while longer. As you can see, prophecy is being unveiled. We believe the elect have already been sealed. It's just a matter of now putting it into motion. And as we're putting it into motion, you're starting to see everything befall Babylon. Now the slander's out there saying that, we're just a bunch of trigger-happy black identity extremists. Because they had to do enough of them of white identity extremists, but now they're rolling it out. Same thing I had stated before. So here we are, and a lot's going on, things that, you might not have heard about. But they're starting to shut down recycling centers. Now, that's important to California because the only way the homeless are able to make a little extra money, which they've even outlawed shopping carts. You can't use shopping carts and then collect the money. So one friend's got to watch the shopping cart while another brings 2 or 3 bags. Yeah, they're starting to limit how many bags you can carry in, too. They have this total war against the homeless, which the homeless are mostly Edomites, but it's their only means of survival. So now they're just closing down the recycling centers. A lot of these personal recycling centers are shutting down, because the mirth of this place is disappearing. So that's all happening. And then, you already know about the coup d'etats. That's how Iran's government was overthrown back in the 50s. They did a coup d'etat and they had their puppet government in there until the Islamic Revolution of 1979. And then the people of Iran fought against the Zionists who were running the place. And that's why Iran's been a hot topic ever since 1979. The deep state, if you will, which there's really no difference between the deep state, Donald Trump, and everything else, man. No, man, the Illuminati, because deep state and Illuminati mean the same thing, man. They control everything. Everything. So, pretty much they're the people you don't see, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. You don't see them, but they're there. Nah, man, you just see the guy in the suit, which is Donald J. Trump. So, he's giving out that false image that he's against the deep state, but he's really not. Because if he were against them, he never would have bombed Syria to begin with. He would have really seriously got the troops out of Syria. But nonetheless, though, he's just there because they want him there. Because he's going to do whatever they ask. You can't become the president and then be against the so-called deep state. JFK, spoke about getting rid of the International Monetary Fund. Getting rid of that bank. And raising the silver standard. They got rid of him. So you can't be this, and they will assassinate you if you go against them. So Donald Trump is 100% one of them. He ain't against nothing. And this whole election thing, it's rigged. But we, the elect, we see right through that bullshit anyways. We're past that red, white, and blue paradigm. We don't even call ourselves Americans. Nah, man, we're Israelites. We don't have our land as of yet. These bastards dwell in Ashdod. So in the meantime, we're just sitting back and watching our enemies pick each other off. Especially watching these Edomites fight against each other. You know, Russia and its superpowers, United States and its superpowers, and we're watching the whole thing crumble. Many are turning against the whore, the United States. And it's a good thing to see, the fall of our enemies. So, you know, all of our enemies are destroying each other in these wars that are getting bigger and bigger. So, anyhow, going to switch over to the screencast and take a look at a few things. The shutting down of the recycling center, you know, here in California. You know, they're shutting down recycling centers. Oh, and the place that I teach on South and East, the homeless situation is getting so much worse that even that last lesson that I did over there, man, somebody was already sleeping, man. So, man, a lot of people are just now, instead of sleeping behind buildings, man, they're just sleeping right there on the sidewalk where you can see them, just like they do in San Francisco. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can best believe the homeless situation is pretty bad here in Redding, you know. So, yeah, it's big, one big, huge ghetto. But this word is still going out. So, now over to the screencast. Hope these videos are edifying.
Now at 5:30, a crushing blow to California's recycling industry. California's largest recycling business is shuttering all its redemption sites. Residents across the Bay may soon have nowhere to go. Good evening, I'm Alan Martin.
I'm Veronica Dela Cruz. All 284 centers are closing their doors, leaving hundreds of employees without jobs. This closure will impact Contra Costa, San Francisco, and Santa Clara counties. KPIX 5's Wilson Walker is at one redemption site in Mountain View with how this closure is leaving many shortchanged.
This is what it looked like at the Replanet location in Mountain View today. A whole bunch of waste that has been dropped off at a recycling center that is never going to reopen, a victim of a recycling economy that has been struggling for years.
I thought the guy is on break because usually he take his break at 1.
From Sunnyvale to San Mateo, from Mountain View to San Francisco, they showed up with their bottles, cans, and plastic only to find Replanet out of business.
You know, we've been coming regularly for probably years now.
And for some of them, this is the only business they have.
I'm surviving, recycling, surviving. This is not a big business.
And for years now, the business of recycling has been getting hammered by changes in the global economy, something we first started telling you about more than 3 years ago now.
China wanted it, Taiwan wanted it, Hong Kong wanted it.
That was Joe Garbarino of Marin Sanitary back in 2016 talking about Asia's waning need for our used metals and waning want for our used plastic. And without that buyer for this waste, recycling has largely stopped paying.
Well, we're going to be applying for rising rates. We're going to have to. We can't keep doing it and keep losing money at this.
And that's exactly what happened. Rates have since gone up in Marin, but for Replanet, the state's largest recycling business, the math simply wasn't going to add up. By one estimate, as many as 40% of the state's recycling centers have closed in the past 5 years, a blow to recycling efforts as well as those who depend on them.
It's very difficult. There are many people recycling right now, you know.
Now, recycling advocates have been pushing the state to reform its refund program in hopes of keeping centers like this one open. But the truth is, keeping waste like this, particularly plastic, out of our landfills is getting increasingly expensive. In Mountain View, Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.
Replanet released a statement saying it will now undergo a process to have its assets liquidated and creditors paid.
But we're going to begin our A block today with Honduras. Those of us who hail from Latin America, those of us who come from places like, in my case, Cuba, know very well that for more than 100 years, the CIA has chosen who gets elected, who gets removed, and even who lives or dies throughout Central and South America. This is a fact. You could find it in an easy Google search, I think. The list is much too long. It involves Chile, where they, well, assassinated Allende, right? Democratically elected president. Panama, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Nicaragua. I could go on and on, listing places where the CIA has, you know, manifested coups, started civil wars, sent in the Marines to just out and out remove or kill an elected official. It's part of our history. We all know it, and it's ugly. And it's also true. But many believe that since the Church Committee, which was in what, 1975, right? That's where the CIA was basically called on by Congress, and it vowed to stop doing that. And most people think it actually did stop doing that. The fact of the matter is, it didn't. Case in point, the coup that removed an elected president from Honduras in 2009. Here now is news with Rick Sanchez correspondent Michelle Greenstein.
In Honduras, protesters nationwide demanding the resignation of their president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. They fill the streets with signs calling him a narco-dictator. Narco because he's been recently implicated in a drug trafficking scandal. Dictator because many see his election as illegitimate. Police meet the protesters with tear gas and bullets. This current surge of demonstrations, led by students, teachers, and medical workers, is a reaction to proposals to further privatize education and health services, and are just the latest in many waves of protests since the 2009 military coup against President Jose Manuel Zelaya. Despite a wealthy background, Zelaya moves his government to the left during his tenure. The administration builds new schools, provides students with free lunch, and creates pensions for the elderly. He raises the minimum wage and even distributes energy-saving light bulbs. In 2008, Zelaya joins the Bolivarian Alliance for the Americas, or ALBA, which positions itself as an anti-imperialist group of countries working towards an alternative to neoliberalism. June 28, 2009. It's 5:30 a.m. and heavily armed soldiers depose President Zelaya while he's in his pajamas. U.S. President Barack Obama calls it an illegal coup and says that it would be a terrible precedent if we start moving backwards into the era in which we are seeing military coups. But then something interesting happens. His Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, says that the United States is not going to formally call the event a military coup. The Obama administration is pressured to put the democratically elected president back in power, but fails to do so. Under the new government, schools get privatized, mining on indigenous lands increases, and violence intensifies. The homicide rate increases 50% from 2008 to 2011. Labor leaders get assassinated. Thousands of indigenous leaders, journalists, environmentalists, judges, and human rights activists have also been murdered since the coup. A 2015 survey ranks Honduras as one of the top 5 deadliest places to be a woman, and Global Witness says Honduras is the deadliest country in the world for environmental activism. Even Human Rights Watch, which many criticize as an outfit that neglects to condemn U.S. policy, reports that, quote, impunity for human rights abuses remain the norm and that the judiciary and police remain largely ineffective. The result? A nation in chaos. The slow destruction of the state and the rule of law since 2009 allows drug traffickers, often in collusion with the military and police, to run rampant. The U.S. even increases its arms sales to the country in recent years, approving between 2 and 4 million in gun sales a year to Honduras between 2015 and 2017. These weapons end up in both the hands of criminals via corrupt military officers and the police, who then turn those guns on civilians. At the same time, the United States military footprint in the country grows bigger. And overall, while the situation in Honduras may be a strategic victory for the United States, it seems to be a disaster for its people. For the News with Rick Sanchez, Michelle Greenstein, RT.
Now, as you just saw in Michelle's report, this all started going sour when the former president of Honduras, who, by the way, is a man named Manuel Zelaya, as you heard in her report, he wanted to reform the country. He says he just wanted to give more of its resources back to the people of Honduras, at the expense, though, of foreign conglomerates, most of which are based here in the United States and that wield a lot of power in Washington. And many believe that is what set forth the coup d'etat that literally deposed Zelaya. He was removed from power and has never been allowed to get back into the government. Tonight, an exclusive interview that most in the corporate media wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Here we are with the former president of Honduras, Manuel Zelaya. Mr. President, you were democratically elected, no?
Sí, claro que sí. No, nadie impugnó.
Yes, of course. No one questioned my election. There was no controversy in my election. And I won by more than 4 points.
So what happened? If the people voted for you, how is it that there's a coup and that they take you away from the presidency?
Pregúntele a los que me sacaron, ¿por qué me sacaron?
Ask the people who took me out why they took me out. They entered my home one early morning, and there were only 7 months left in my term. Of course, I had joined the Bolivarian Alliance for the Americas, and people from the United States threatened me, including President Bush. They asked why I was a friend of Chavez and other causes outside of Honduras, which is what pushed the military to violently overthrow me.
Do you have any doubt that the United States and the CIA were behind this?
No, you all have doubts. I have absolutely no doubt. I mean, the United States warned me. If you sign the Bolivarian alternative to the Americas, ALBA, you're going to have problems with the United States. I signed it, and 6 months later, I had problems. They kicked me out.
And did you try to communicate with Hillary Clinton in that moment, when she was Secretary of State?
No, because if I had another chance to sign a Latin America alternative for the Union of the Peoples of Latin America, confronting capitalism, confronting imperialism, confronting the violence, I would sign it again. I was fully conscious of what I was doing despite the threats coming from the hawks in Washington.
Well then, I imagine that if the United States had to take you out, it's because you were doing something horrible, no? You must have been robbing banks, engaging in terrorism, or doing something else horrible like that.
For them, yes. Well, the United States has a discourse, their government at least, because you need to respect the people of North America and their democracy. But their foreign policy is imperialist. They impose their rules and they wave their flags of human rights abroad, but they only apply those concepts to those that they consider to be adversaries. This servant, during the 3.5 years in which I governed, I had the best economic growth indicators in Honduran history, of poverty reduction in Honduran history, the best indicators of human development in history. Honduras was floating. In 10 years, we were going to reach Costa Rica at the rate in which we were growing. But nevertheless, my friendship with Fidel, with Raúl Castro, with Chavez, with Correa, with Cristina, with all the progressive presidents, Evo Morales, Daniel Ortega, all of these progressive presidents, it was to help Honduras develop. Honduras has only looked north, never south, and it was necessary. With President Lula, for example, we were developing projects so that Honduras could advance. So the United States developed chickenpox. They got hives. They had an allergic reaction. And they started to organize alongside Honduran elites and the military, a coup d'etat, and they took me out.
The United States' fear, I imagine, was not that you were simply progressive, but that you were a communist.
No, it's the competition. It's the competition. Of course, they said that I was a communist. Look, I went to Cuba to meet Fidel, being president, and they said, Mel, Castro, communist. Mel is my nickname. Obama went to Cuba, and they said, Obama, the statesman. That's the international press that, with rare exceptions, lends itself to that type of coverage. And let me clarify this. I didn't have problems with the United States. They simply didn't accept the competition brought by the oil of PDVSA in Venezuela, the oil of Pemex in Mexico. They don't accept competition because these transnational companies live off monopoly. They live off concessions. And when you give them competition on the free market, then they stop being capitalist. And they become retrograde, authoritarian. And they plan coups, wars, and all these things that you know about. Invasions, and all these things that we know about.
Manuel Zelaya, the president of Honduras, duly elected, then ousted. Tomorrow, part 2 of my interview with him, where we discuss the immigration pattern and why so many people in his country are now coming to America. So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering the stories that you won't see covered anywhere else?
Okay, looking at a real hot ticker here, and this just happened. Wars, rumors of wars. Free Grace 1 moving into Mediterranean flying Iranian flag, destination unknown. Iran's press TV reports the Grace 1 tanker carrying 2 million barrels of Iranian oil has begun departing after yesterday a Gibraltar court ruled to free it after having been held. It was boarded by the UK terrorists on July 4th. It's also now freely moving into the Mediterranean despite a last-minute U.S. attempt to intervene in order to bring it into American customs, which is, just terrorism. While the ship was previously Panamanian flagged, it is now flying the Iranian flag and has been renamed the Adrian Darya. Crucially, authorities in Tehran have yet to name its destination in the Mediterranean, saying it's free to offload oil anywhere it wants, including in Syria. Well, yeah, because Syria has a right to this oil. The United States and its allies have been stealing from Syria. They are looting the oil from northern Syria. So Damascus has every right to buy oil from Iran. They shouldn't have to buy oil from Iran, but they have the right to do business because the fucking pigs, the United States and fucking Turkey, have been stealing from Syria the whole entire time. It's just now Turkey is broken off from America because of the PKK. But Turkey would come in there and intercept if the U.S. wasn't there. You can best believe that. Everybody steals from Syria. One Middle East-based war correspondent known for his access to high-level Iranian sources, Elijah Magnefer, has indicated the tanker will be navigating under the flag of Iran and will be heading towards Syria. He added the Iranian flag has a direct message to anyone willing to stop it, concerning the possibility that it could still definitely sail towards Syria. Gibraltar's chief minister told CNN on Friday, "We only acted in July when we had evidence that the cargo aboard the vessel was going to Syria. What we found aboard the vessel had contained the view that we took was the correct view. We have only released the vessel when we have been convinced that the vessel is now going to Syria," he said. So either way, these fuckfaces, delayed a shipment to Syria hoping to crush the government. But that's shit, man. You know that Syria's overcome worse. They're fucking getting ripped off all the time. The refugee crisis, all of that shit. And Press TV has the same article, so read a little in this one. Iran-run Grace 1 oil tanker starts moving after Gibraltar decides to release tanker. The Iranian-run Grace 1 oil tanker previously seized by the Gibraltar authorities, aka the terrorists, has started to move after the British-controlled territory Supreme Court ordered the release of the vessel on Thursday. Live reports on Friday showed that the smoke was seen rising from the vessel's chimney. Alright, here's another one. Syrian Arab Army captures 2 towns near terrorist stronghold in southern Idlib, which these are the places being held by Gomer, but the Syrian Arab Army has been driving these terrorists out, along with Russia's help. The Syrian Arab Army has captured 2 towns near the terrorist stronghold of Khan Shakran in southern Idlib, reaching the edges of a major bastion of foreign-sponsored Takfiri militants. In their large-scale advance on Thursday night, the troops captured the small town of Mahdia and immediately secured it in order to prevent Harat al-Sham terrorists from re-entering it. The next target after Mahdia was the hilltop town of Tal al-Rasha, which was briefly contested, but later ended with terrorists fully retreating back towards Khan Shakran. The The Syrian Arab Army has now put its troops at the northwestern flank of Khan Shakhan, marking the farthest advance north that the army has made in the Idlib governorate. The government troops are working to surround Khan Shakhan from its western and eastern axis, but the progress of the battle in the east is slow in comparison to the west. Last Sunday, Syrian fighter jets carried out a string of airstrikes against the positions of foreign-sponsored Takfiri terrorists in the southern part of Idlib, pounding militant bases in the towns of Khan Shakhan, Al-Tamra, Has Madaya, Kafashana, Raska, Sinish, and Hazran, as well as Hai. But by Thursday, the ground forces had gained control of 5 villages to the northwest of Khan Shakhan, and I believe I have footage of this. By Thursday, the ground forces had gained control of 5 villages to the northwest of Khan Shakhan. As the advances continued, the Syrian air defense intercepted and destroyed a missile coming from northern Lebanon over the western central governorate of Hamas, state media said, so you can best believe that was Israeli state. Quoting an unnamed military source, Syria's official news agency reported that the hostile missile was shot down at 23:06 local time, 20:06 Greenwich Mean Time, Thursday over the city of Masyaf before reaching its destination target. The Israeli state has acknowledged repeatedly striking positions inside Syria in recent years, and some of such attacks have been carried out from Lebanese airspace. Such aggressive moves are usually viewed as attempts to prop up terrorist groups suffering defeats at the hands of the Syrian government forces. So, either way, though, yeah, you're going to hear more about Syria. Turkey comes to terrorist help. In reaction to the massive offensive, a Turkey-backed militant group has reportedly sent reinforcements to the front lines of Khan Shakhan. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on Thursday that the militant group had launched a counterattack on the eastern pincer at the village of Saliak and that dozens had been killed in the fighting. The so-called National Army and National Liberation Front, 2 terrorist groups that are supported by Turkey, have joined forces to oppose the offensive. The National Army sent more of its fighters to the front lines to confront the government units, its spokesman said on Thursday. It was decided to start sending troops from the National Army starting tomorrow, the group's spokesman Yosef Hamad said. So pretty much, man, you can see what's going on here. Meanwhile, there are unconfirmed reports that a Saudi ringleader of terrorists in Syria have been killed in the Syrian offensive near Khan Shakhan. An informed source told Iraq's Barata News that Abdullah al-Muhassin, a notorious Saudi member of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, has most probably been killed in southern Idlib. Al-Muhassin was a cleric known for having served as a religious judge in the so-called Army of Conquest. Yeah, you don't hear too much about that group because, of course, they stay hidden within the terrorist groups, the Army of Conquest. Al-Mashana was a cleric known for having served as a religious judge. Okay. Karnat Shankar lies on a key highway coveted by government troops. The road runs through Idlib, connecting to the capital Damascus with strategic northern city of Aleppo. Syrian government forces have been regaining control of further areas once held by the terrorists in the Idlib province. So, you're probably going to hear a lot more about this as well, as they're going to they may try to do a false flag, but nonetheless, you're definitely going to hear about Israeli state firing upon them, because that's what they do when their precious terrorists are starting to lose control. And more on this story. This is from Syrian Arab News Agency. Syrian air defenses intercept hostile target in Mishaf city in Hama countryside. A military source announced that Syrian air defenses intercepted a hostile target coming from north of Lebanon and destroyed it before reaching its target, a Mishaf area in Hama countryside. The militant source told Syrian Arab News Agency in a statement that at 11:06 p.m. on Thursday evening, our defense detected a hostile target coming from northern Lebanon towards Mishaf city. The source added that our air defenses immediately intercepted the hostile target before reaching its target, Shaza. So, again, as well as I do that, you can best believe that came from Israeli state, Amalek. Which leads me to Joel chapter 2, because here we are, blowing the trumpet, and we know that this war is ineffable. And we can see all that moving in, because this whole war on Syria was really to weaken Iran with an attack on Yemen and in Syria to get rid of, those that are closest to Iran, so they could hopefully, isolate Iran. However, though, you know that they're going to fail to do so. Blow ye the trumpet of Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, which are the people of Yasharallah, our people. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. The day of the Most High cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And we're telling our people what's about to come to this place, that America will be consumed by nuclear destruction. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. You see these clouds all around, which are them chariots. They're showing up everywhere. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, talking about nuclear destruction, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Talking about these red Hebrew Edomites in Babylon. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so they shall run. Talking about these nuclear silos. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array, because all the nations of the world possess this. Before the face, the people shall be much pain, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his own ways, and they shall not break their ranks. In other words, they're going to be very loyal to, their power, to their military power. And, all these places, they have one thing in common. They hate America. They hate Babylon the Great, and they really hate the Zionist entity. Especially after Donald J. Trump declared Jerusalem as the capital, and then went further to say that Golan Heights belongs to Amalek, because that's who Israeli state is. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. In other words, these missiles are going to make their target. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And the stars shall withdraw from their shining. Yeah, because it's nuclear destruction, for several days, for like 2 or 3 weeks, because they did use nuclear termites. I think they're called nanobites, but they were used to bring down the Twin Towers. That's why the smoke stayed smoky for quite some time, because those were they were smaller nukes. They were suitcase nukes used to bring down the Twin Towers. They ain't going to tell you that. They're going to make you believe that it was jet fuel. But we know better. And the Most High shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word, which is pretty much talking about us going out on the streets and declaring his word. We're very loud. Everybody sees us. The day of the Most High is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Therefore also now, saith the Most High, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And that's what we're trying to do, man, And you got people trying to lead our people astray, saying that it's okay to have sex on the Sabbath. And you know as well as I do that that's not having fear and trembling, and that's definitely not fasting. Oh, man. It's a sacred time, man, And rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto the Most High your power. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. So, it's supposed to be, listen, man, this is what it's talking about, which includes Sabbaths. Who knoweth if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering, and a drink offering unto the Most High your power? Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. And that's what we're doing, man. We're telling all our people to pretty much come out of the ways of Babylon. Babylon's about to be destroyed. Repent before our Father and before the Son destroys you. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We're doing this all the time. And most of all, though, we're trying to sanctify ourselves. Because this judgment's going to come a lot more quickly than people estimate it will. It comes in a day and an hour no one expects. And Jacob's trouble, we're in the beginning stages of it. There's going to be a time that the Most High is going to shut his ears. And he's not going to hear us. So grab onto this mercy while it's still here. But I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakadash, Wa Abba Babal. Brakathum Jehovah elect. And you can best believe, and I'm going to show this brother's video because he's been right on, that crisis actors have been used, especially in this recent thing. So, that these are false flags to frame us.
Saying, boy, fuck it with the phone, boy. Saying, fuck it with the phone heavy, boy. He does not want this to come out. Through the spirit and power, how about Shem Yahushai? He does not want this to come out, man. The physical sons of Satan. Esau. These Rothschilds, these bankers. These Edomites. They're trying to stop this word, man. But you can't stop this word. You can't stop this. Here it is. I'm thinking the live is on. I'm over here talking to myself. Esau's just the devil, man. I mean, everywhere you put it, he's just the devil, man. You can't stop this word, man. You can't stop it. Yeah, that and it don't stop. Yeah, and it don't stop. And it don't quit. That's the spirit. The spirit don't quit. And it ain't gonna stop the prophecies. You're going down. You're going down, man. We at the end of this thing, man. This kingdom's coming, man. You know? We at the end of this thing, man. Shit is crazy. Here it is. Through the spirit and power of Hashem Yahushua. We're not ignorant saints devices, man. Here it is. They got videos of Philly cops putting blood upon themselves, man. They threw out a pack. They took out a pack and they started sprinkling blood on themselves. And then Esau was like, "You don't want no drones flying. Please don't have any drones flying around." Yeah, you don't want no drones flying around to fall out your bullshit. And the Most High's lifting up the skirt, man. You know, we at the end of this thing. We are at the end. And there's nothing that you Edomites can do about it. You know? I'm so glad they got caught doing that. And you still got people talking shit. Conspiracy theorists. Well, guess what? I'm Mr. Conspiracy, man. Call me King Conspiracy. Because it's a fucking conspiracy. And it's beautiful because the Spirit of the Lord is revealing this. The Spirit of the Lord is revealing this. It's beautiful times, man. Hey, man, you gotta laugh too. You gotta laugh because you know what? You'll bug the hell out. You know what I mean? You have to laugh, man. It's funny. You goddamn right, it's funny. It's funny as hell. And we praising the Lord because the Lord's High is lifting up the skirt of Esau. All this illusion and witchcraft and sorcery. And soon they're gonna change they're gonna take down the channel. They saying the dude Morris Hills with the 6-hour showdown, showing 6 cops. Look at the symbolism: the 6 cops, the 6-hour showdown, whatever the case may be. That he was live streaming on Facebook or whatever, posting up on live stream. All these shootings they've been doing on live stream. Why? Because they want to shut down the internet. Because the internet is cutting these Edomites, man. It's cutting them. It's cutting them to the core. You know. You know? Yup, what's done in the light, yup, in the dark, is going to come to light, man. All of that's coming to light, man. We at the end days, man. Look, man, this is the last seconds. This is the last seconds of Esau's society. If you can't see what's going on, Esau knows that it's his end. See, but the thing with Esau is he's trying to fight it. That's the thing with Esau. He's actually trying to fight it, you know? He thinks he can actually fight the prophecies, man. But you're not going to fight the prophecies, man. You're not going to fight it, man. You're not going to fight the prophecies, man. You think you're going to fight the prophecy? You're going to fight the Lord? But that's the pride of Esau. These elites think that they're going to fight the Most High. That they're going to fight the Lord. These elites think they can fight the Lord. They're that proud. They're that proud and demonic. They think that they can fight the Lord. They think that they can fight the Lord, man. But we at the end. We're living in exciting times, man. Yeah, it's scary times. It is scary times, but we're living in exciting times. And that's the vibration we have to push, man. That vibe, man. Because the Lord is with us, man. Our faith is going to be tested. We are living in the last day. This is spiritual battle, man. You got to understand, man. This is something serious. We've been duped, man. We've been told lies. That we're blacks, we're Latinos, we're Native Americans, we're Italians, German, Russian for the Israelites that scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. They don't lie to us, man. Telling us we black. When there's such thing as black and white people, it's 18 nations, man. And according to the prophecies, the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Heavenly Father. Because these elites have the records of who we are. And they're not going to tell us who we are. The slave master is not going to tell the slave who we are. You understand what I'm saying? His job is to keep you hid from who you are. Because once you come to your power, their power gets destroyed. Which is Satan. It's that simple, man. It's not rocket science. They're not smart. They're just devils. They're just real slick. They're just clever. They're not smart, man. It's very easy what they're doing. It doesn't take a rocket science. They're just real clever, real slick. That's what the Most High described Esau as, the serpent. You know? He described Esau as what? The serpent. He's the serpent. These elites, man. And they know they're the wicked, man. They know everything we're saying is true. They know it. But you Israelites are still blinded. The majority of you Israelites are still blind. That's why you have to repent. You have to repent. Our job is to tell you to repent, man, before the evil days come. You see all these blackout shootouts. You see these crisis actors. What's the dude name? What's it? David Hoggs. His father worked for the FBI, and he was also in the Florida shooting, and he was in the California shooting. And there was a picture where the crisis actors was all. They was all taking selfies. The crisis actors was taking selfies. I can't even make this shit up, man, if I wanted to. I can't even make this shit up. The crisis actors taking selfies, man. They're taking selfies, the crisis actors. Like they chilling and shit, you know what I'm saying? they taking a selfie before they start acting. Before they start acting. Devil, man, I'm telling you, he's the devil. That's why the Lord said, Jacob have I loved, Esau I hated. All Esau does is witchcraft. That's his whole MO. His whole MO is witchcraft, sorcery. That's his whole MO, man. That's this whole world. He has his hand in everything. In the Hollywood, this is his world, man. The Hollywood, the media, the musicians, all these music artists. Why do you think all these musicians is pushing them? But rape, adultery, drugs, extortion. Look at Cardi B. Cardi B's a witch. She actually admitted to extortion, drugging men, and prostituting. And those are all worthy of death when you read the law, man. You're supposed to get stoned for that. A witch is supposed to get put to death. A witch is a modern day drug dealer. But they uplift that in this society, man. Our people live that. You uplift drug dealers, gangbangers. When you gotta repent from that, that's a religion. Don't you know that? That thug, that's an actual spirit. That thug shit is a religion. It comes from the Elamites. You can look it up. It comes from Elam, that thug shit. That's an actual fucking religion. Being a gang member, that's a religion. Most I ain't dealing with religion. Most I dealing with his law, statute, commandments that he gave to the children of Israel, the covenant, man. Yeah, they're not hiding it. You got celebrities and rappers called Lil Uzi Vert. You say Lil Uzi Vert fast is Lucifer, and he says Marilyn Manson's his father. He idolizes Marilyn Manson, and he even admitted to seeing spirits. He admitted to seeing demonic spirits. You got this other rapper. Don't even ask me how I know these things. It's the spirit, man, because I don't follow these fucking. I don't even know how I know these things. We have to keep up to what the. Got this rapper called Juice WRLD, and he got a song straight up. Talk about inauguration of media, man. Talk about he sees her in the bedroom. He sees her in the bedroom. He did a remake of that song with Sting, and Sting, that's not the place of my heart. Was it change of heart? That's not the shape of my heart. I'm sorry. He did a remix of that shit. I see you in my bedroom. I see. He's talking about a spirit. When you watch the video, you can see he's talking to a spirit. You can see it's a spirit, man. And he was looking in the mirror. They call it black mirrors, man. And that's really what they use these cell phones for on the left-hand side, too. To throw out enchantments and witchcraft, man. All these apps. Men turning into women, women turning into men. That Baphomet spirit. That's an actual androgynous demon. That's an actual spirit. It's a deity. That's why men now are acting like women, and women are acting like men. And don't you know that's an abomination? God said that. And a feminist should not make it inherit the kingdom of heaven. A woman is supposed to be ladylike and feminine. A man's supposed to be masculine, that masculine energy, man. It's a perfect balance, but now it's crossed over. And that's what they want to do, man. It's an actual spirit. It's an actual deity. It's an actual spirit that they're pushing out. And if you don't have the protection of the Lord, if you don't have the Holy Spirit and wisdom not to understand, you get caught in that shit. Guess what? Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Oh yeah? Most High said, get your ass too. Most High said, oh yeah, you got no problem with that? Get your ass too, man. Lord don't play. Lord is gangster. They call it snitching now, right? But guess what? In the ancient world, when you was doing wickedness and evil, yeah, you snitched. You pulled a brother to the side, but if he didn't listen, and they want to keep indulging in that witchcraft, they got dealt with, man, by Levitical priests. See, there was a different vibe back then. It wasn't, oh, it's not bothering me, let it go. No, man. You told Levitical priesthood, the whole society got together. The whole society got together, man, and put fire to your ass, man. There was a different vibe back then in the ancient world. That's why when they came over here to the indigenous, when the indigenous peoples was here, the Native Americans, which are really the tribes of Israel, there was none of that shit going on like that, man. But now it's accepted. They call it the two-spirit. The Native Americans are the tribe of Gad. They wasn't acceptable. That wasn't even heard of, man. Like that, man. You was ousted by the tribes. You got put out. There was no mental retardation amongst our people. Our people was fit. They didn't know what a flu was, man. Our people was in shape. But when Esau came, what did he do? He slammed concrete all over the place because he's from the Caucasus Mountains. That's his spirit. He turned his place into a fucking concrete jungle when America was a paradise, man. Spiritual demon saved, boy. He's working. Battle with spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Satan's job, spiritual demon saints, to come against the truth. And the physical sons of Satan, man, they're getting upset because his word is cutting them. But when we had this land, we knew to respect the earth. We had what we call the land. Rip, drain all the resources. Now look at America, man. The water's poison. The air's poison. Now you got sodomite penguins showing you it's spiritual. It's all a vibrational energy. Sodomite penguins. That shit is crazy, bro. Sodomite penguins. Because the goddamn air's polluted, man. And even the waters. You have female fishes turning into male fishes and vice versa. Because of the poison in the water, showing you it's all spiritual. That's poison of the mind, man. But in this society, they say what? It's okay. But prior to the 70s, it was known as a mental disorder, which is demons. They try to break it down in the physical, but in the spirit, it's demons. And you got to exercise those demons. How do you exercise those demons? You need to acknowledge that you have demons. Not pride, not LGBT pride. Because Most High hates pride. Pride go before destruction. You can't be healed like that, man. Because in your mind, you think you're good, you're all right. Nobody can tell you a goddamn thing. That's not how you exercise demons. You need to acknowledge that you have a problem. Acknowledge that you have a demon. Humble yourself down. Because if you're prideful, you don't learn nothing, man. How the fuck you learn when you're prideful? Why do you think babies always looking? They shut the hell up and they watching. Children learn different languages quick. Because they're just absorbing. So the Most High gave you 2 ears. 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to shut up and just listen. When you first come in this truth, you just shut the hell up and you listen. You didn't just, the spirit didn't just hit you and you just woke up and said, oh, I'm an Israelite. Deuteronomy this, Jeremiah that, Isaiah this. No, stop the bullshit. And that's prideful too. There was a man that the Most High put the spirit on to teach you. And then guide you the right way like a baby. And then you get the milk. And then you start eating the meat after a while. You don't just wake up, Jeremiah this, Isaiah that, Deuteronomy this. I'm an Israelite. The Most High's name is Yahweh. The Almighty, his name is Yahweh. The world called Jesus Christ's name is Yahushua. And you start breaking it down yourself. A guy like that, you got to stay away from, man. A guy that says, you know what? Nobody taught me. He's full of shit, man. Because that's not how the Lord deals. Somebody obviously taught you the right path, and then you walk that right path, and after some time, then the Most High starts dealing with you. You don't just wake up one day, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I know all this knowledge. The Most High could zap you with that knowledge, but that's not how it works. You learn from somebody, man. You learn the basics, the middle, walk through that gate. And after some time, you get the experience, the Lord starts dealing with you, man. Start getting revelation, start getting vision. Because you start intertwining. You had that Wi-Fi connection with them. Really, that's what it is. It's like a Wi-Fi. You get the password. Well, you have to get the password. What's the password? The name of the Lord. That's the void of judgment. So when the judgment comes, the elect, the death is going to go over them. Just like in the time of ancient Egypt, when the death angel came, the destroyer. They had over their doorposts, and they had light in their dwellings. But there's in gross darkness got jacked up, and are satanic, and they worship Satan. Yes, the people that control the society worship Satan. All right, the synagogue is Satan. I know the blasphemy of them would say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Why? Because they go into occult magic. Just like in ancient Egypt, there was the Magi's and sorcerers coming against Moses and Aaron. The little snakes that they brought out. And the Most High commanded Moses and Aaron to what? Bring down their staff, and their staff turned into a snake to eat their little snakes. And that's what this truth is. Oh boy, there you go. All praise to Yahweh Shad, man. This word gonna get out, man. You can't stop this thing, Esau. You ain't gonna stop nothing. The Lord's gonna prevail. No matter what, the Lord's gonna prevail. The prophecies are gonna prevail. Yahweh Shad defeated you 2,000 years ago, man. Satan. You already been defeated, man. The kingdom is right around the corner, man. You can feel it. You can feel it, man. We at the end. Days are speeding up. Prophecies is building up. These little crisis actors is being exposed, and it's looking silly. You're looking straight silly and goofy. That's what you are. That's what you Edomites are. You're a bunch of goofy asses, man. Here it is. You got the Philly cop. He got the Philly cop. He putting blood on himself, man. Like, what the fuck? Oh, man. It's like Comedy Central, man. That's what you are. These elites that control this society, man, but they're nothing but clowns. They're nothing but goddamn clowns, these elites, man. And you got this narcissist spirit, this narcissistic spirit, man, is flying around too, man. You got a real narcissistic spirit out here, man. The day shall come. I heard about that, man. The day shall come mocking the Israelites. I didn't hear about that. That's supposed to happen, you know what I'm saying? All that's supposed to happen, man. They're supposed to mock us, persecute us, talk shit about us. What the hell you think happened to the men of the Lord? They got persecuted for speaking the truth. We're being persecuted for what? Speaking the truth. We're being persecuted for speaking the truth, and all we're doing is bringing out the scriptures. All we're doing is bringing out the Bible. The same Bible that people claim to believe in, we're bringing it out. We're bringing out the law, statute, commandments. Same Bible that you swear on in the court system in this world. In Esau's world, in Esau's system, what do? You swear on the Bible, right? And that's all we're doing. Preaching his word, bringing out the Bible, and you got a problem with it, man. You got a problem with our people separating their mind from this place. Why? Because you need our people to be lost. You need our people to be destroyed. And you know our people are under the curses. You know that if our people were to repent, your society would collapse. We're the biggest consumers. Our people are the biggest consumers, man. And we do all your hard laborers' jobs. You talk about the Mexicans, which are the tribe of Issachar. Guess what? Mexicans work your kitchens. If they was to leave, your whole economy would collapse. Just that tribe alone. Let alone all the lost tribes, man. Our people would wake up and be like, man, fuck this devil. This whole economy will collapse, man. Because our people make empires great, just like Joseph made Egypt great. Everywhere we was at, man, we made empires great. Why? Because we're the children of the Most High. Jacob's the form of all things. That's why when you look in the sports world, entertainment world, whatever it is, athletes, whatever it is, it's Israelites, man. It's Israelites dominating. Because we're the salt of the earth, man. We are the salt. We are the salt, man. You can't deny that. And those that look like heathens, that's rocking it out, they Israelites, man. Those that got that salt, but look like heathens, they Israelites. But that's another stumbling block. Not every Israelite's gonna look black. There's no such thing as black. Why you're not? It's not about how you look. It has nothing to do with how you look, man. Because Israel's seed was mingled amongst all nations. Israelite seed was mingled, man. So you're gonna have Israelites that look like heathens, man. They ain't gonna look like Shaft or Wesley Snipes or Shaquille O'Neal. Guess what? You're gonna have Edomites that look dark skinned. They're gonna look like an average Negro, but they're not. How you like them apples, right? How do you like them apples? Huh? Israelites that's gonna look like heathens, man, because their forefather line goes back to the tribes of Israel. How about that? Huh? You don't like that, huh? For those of you that got a problem with that, which is really stupid. Because you have Israelites now dealing with heathen women. You have celebrities that deal with all types of women, man. Edomite women, Moabite women, Ammonite women, Ishmaelite women, Elam. Jake has always been doing that, man. Jake has always been dealing with women, man. Always. Been dealing with Israelite women, man. With heathen women, I'm sorry. Israelite men have always been dealing with heathen women. Israelite men have always been dealing with heathen women and still doing it. Having sex with heathen women. Non-Israelite women. Heathen women, which are concubines. That's a wife of another nation. It's a non-Israelite woman. That's what it is. This is a woman of another nation. That's all it is. It's not a big fucking deal. Israelites are doing it right now as we speak. There's Israelites all over the world banging the hell out of heathen women, making them moan, putting their children in them, man. Israelite children. And no matter how those babies come out, they look like their mother, they still Israelites, man. What the hell's wrong with y'all, man? That's not rocket science. We're 5% blood like some stupid ass, dumb ass idiot. How you gonna use Esau's philosophies, Esau's stupid ass philosophies, to try to explain and break down what the truth? To try to come against the truth, which you can't come against the truth. The truth is the truth. Oh, but you have 5% blood, and you just say that shit so you don't get your ass whooped. That's why. You say that shit so you hope like hell. You hope like hell that our people don't come back at your ass for all the rape, rob, and murder. That's why you say the Taínos were extinct. The Taínos were extinct. We all got European blood. We all have European blood in us. Yeah. The Puerto Rican Taínos, you're all extinct. Okay? Just shut up, niggas. Just shut up and listen. Y'all was extinct, okay? We extincted you. We terminated your Tainos. So you're all Europeans. That's why you're light. There's not the scripture saying Hosea, Ephraim's like a cake unturned. Ephraimites dark skin like Teo Calderon. You have Ephraimites light skin like Daddy Yankee. It's not about the melanin of your skin. Now don't get me wrong, the original Hebrews was all dark skin. But through the process of us being scattered, prior to that, man, we were scattered, we migrated, we were scattered in slavery, we went to different parts of the world. Come on, man, we done done videos on that. Israelites scattered in Japan, amongst the Ammonites. Israelites scattered in China, amongst the Moabites. We done did videos on that, man. Check it out. Matter of fact, we might bring it out again, if the spirit allows it. Over there, the Laos and Cambodians, Thailand, Vietnamese, the Southeast Asians. Now, we're not saying all of them are Israelites, because you have Moab up in there. But you had Israelites scattered there, man. A lot of them Cambodians gangbanging in Long Beach, blooded and cripping with Judah to team up against Issachar. What's the jakes, man? Stupid young Menace the Crip from Massachusetts, Stockton, California. He's an Israelite. We told him that, man. So you an Israelite, man. You're an Israelite. Them curses follow us, man. Not because we dark skinned, it's because we're Israelites, man. Because everybody at one time had melanin, all right, except Esau. The Arabs, the original Arabs had melanin. They were different shades of brown. Edom, you got East Indians that are darker than so-called Negroes, man. But they're not called black. You never thought about that? That's witchcraft. I done seen Arabs that were darker than me, but they're not called black. Edomites that are darker than me. And I'm like middle, you know what I'm saying? I done seen Edomites that were dark as hell. Edomites that were dark as fucking hell, man. Dark as night. But they're not called black. They're not being called black. The Moabites, the Mongolians, the Moabites, man. Look at them Mongoloids. The Mongolians, man, they dark. They dark. But they're not called black. Why the fuck are you called black here in Babylon? And why is this pushed so hard on you, man? You gotta think about that. You never sat back and thought about that? All nations had different melanin, but what happened was it got light through Esau's rape, rob, and murder to the time of the Greeks, man. When Alexander the Greek started ruling, was it 5 generals? They spread it out and they started conquering. And what happened when you conquer the nation? You outbreed it, man. You rape the women and outbreed it. And that's how the lighter skinned tribes came about. You know? That's how the lighter skinned tribes came about, man. The lighter skinned tribes. But that don't mean shit, man. But we at the end of this thing. You know? We have this cool color shit, man. Color. You all stuck on this color, man. But you know you're gonna have Edomites that have dark skin, super dark skin, meaning their mother is an Israelite, but going down their father's line, they're an Edomite. Their line goes back to a slave master that raped the Israelite woman or raped the Native American Indian woman. They called them squaw. That's what they did. Those were booties, spoils of war. That's what happened, man. That's what happened. Spoils of war. And that's what happened, man. So you're gonna have Edomites that look like average Israelites, man. Dark skin and everything. Hey, Lenny Kravitz, we're gonna put him out, for example, because he's a celebrity, right? People know him. That's why he had that song, I Wanna Fly Away. I want to get away. I wanna fly away. Yeah. That's Obadiah. Esau is the eagle. As his line goes back to Edomites, man. Showing you it's all spiritual. His line goes back to Amalek at that too. The worst of the worst. Amalek. Them so-called gutter rats. The worst of the worst. That's where his line goes back to. What about that? What about the tares? The wheat and the tares. The Lord gonna separate the wheat and the tares. It's not about color, it's about the spirit, man. Just like a father has a son, and no matter what, his son has a connection with his father. No matter what happens, the son is gonna have a connection with his father. Why? Because he's from them loins. That's why. He's from them loins. He's from that loin. He's from that line. He's from that seed. No matter what. Even if he left his son. That's the curses. If he left his son, guess what? Doesn't matter. He still got the connection with his son. That's like when I see my brother, because I have brother on my father's side. Because I wasn't raised with my father. That's the curses. Single mother homes, that's the curses. That's something to be happy about. That's a shameful thing that's happening amongst our nation, man. You got a lot of deadbeat fathers, man, deadbeat dads. You got a lot of loudmouth, out of order Israelite women. So the men are out of order. That's why the women are out of order. That's why we got to come back in order, man. See, we're in a crisis state, man. We're in a state of emergency, but a lot of our people think we're not in a state of emergency, man. They think we're not. Oh, we good. No, we not good. We not good. We're in a fucking state of emergency, man. We have no knowledge of self. We don't know who the fuck we are. We're following all these pagan customs. We have our mind embedded into this place, and all it's done is destroyed our people. And still destroying our people, man. A lot of you Israelites, man, you just gone, man. You just don't want to face reality, man. But you're gonna have to be forced to face reality. This is why Trump is cutting off 15. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. And why he's gonna do that? Why? Why is he gonna do that? To put his foot in your ass. You see what I'm saying? We've been prophesying this for years, and now it's coming to pass. This is all coming to pass, man. It's all coming to pass, man. We've been telling you this man is the devil, but you don't want to listen. You don't want to take heed, so guess what? The Lord's going to let you learn the hard way. All this narcissist bullshit that's happening now, this narcissistic spirit, I want to do what I want, do as thou wilt. The Most High going to do away with that, yo. The Most High is going to do away with all this bullshit real soon, man. And then we're going to see what's really about the Lord in that day. When the shit get real and the shit hits the fan, then we're going to see. You know? Then we're going to see in that day. Shalom, Chief. I don't know if y'all watch the YouTuber Gerald Jupiter, but he making videos about food. He has to be an Israelite. Yeah, you're going to have Israelites that look like all nations. It's not about how you look. See, that's why they want to demonize us so much, because this black identity extremist shit, that's his last thing that he has on us. So he has to push it hard because he's losing it, because his word is getting out that we're not no black supremacist group. We're an Israelite supremacist group, man. Israel's going to rule. The 12,000 out of each tribe, the 144,000 under the Messiah. Who the Messiah himself is from the tribe of Judah, man. From the root and seed of David. The Lord was from that loin. Joseph's loin went back to David. So did Mary also. That's what made it extra special. You see? But we're waking up to who we are, man. And you Israelites need to wake the hell up and stop the bullshit, because we at war. This devil's not playing. He's dead serious. He's serious about his, man. And we gotta be serious about the Father's business. We can't be playing fucking games. But we at the end of this thing, man. You can feel it that we're at the end. We're at the end. And if you can't see it, you're gonna see it. The whole world, before the Lord destroys this place, you're gonna know that Esau is the devil. You're gonna know that this government is wicked and evil and satanic. You're gonna know. You know? So Lord willing, let me pause this, because I gotta make a call. I gotta make a drop real quick. Make this food real quick. And Lord willing, I'm gonna stop this live. And if it doesn't go back on, then I'll do another live, Lord willing. Shalom. I'm gonna pause it. If anything, I'll do another live. About what I was going into earlier with the false flags and the crisis actors. You know, this thing is building up, man. You know, this thing is building up, and Esau knows that his time is not. Esau knows that his time is not, man. These Edomites know, man. their time is not, that their end is not. So they're gonna come in, they're gonna come out blazing with which is that sword, which is their gun. They're gonna come out blazing, man. At the end of this thing, man. We're at the end, man. We're at the very, 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 very end. We're at the very end of this thing, man. You can feel it, man. This energy. This truth is coming out, man. These devils are trying to stop this truth. They're trying to stop it. But you can't stop this truth. Why? Because it's not of man. If it was of man, it would have came to naught. But it's not. It's not of man. This word is getting out and it's cutting these devils, man. It's cutting them, man. It's cutting these devils, man. This word. His word is cutting these devils, man. Trying to stop the channel, shutting down channels, shutting down live. That's gonna do something. That's not gonna do nothing, man. Miracles, yeah, we at that time. We're at that time, man. Marvelous times, marvelous. We're living in marvelous times, man. Marvelous times we're living in. Knows that. Esau knows that, man. That's why he sent up all these false flags, these shootings. He's doing all of that, man, to combat the men of the Lord, man. Combat the men of the Lord, because the men of the Lord are the ones that's coming out raw and uncut. The men of the Lord are coming out raw and uncut, man. Last end of the shit, man. We at the end. We at the end of the shit, man. We at the bitter end. The last quarter, the last seconds. You know? Chariots. They know about the chariots. Bernie Sanders knows about them. That's why he's talking about them, man. gonna tell me Esau don't know? Esau knows, man. Discipline your fucking selves, man. You gotta discipline yourself, man. Discipline, sober-minded. You gotta be disciplined, man. What's gonna happen real soon when all hell breaks loose out here? You know what I mean? Little things like water that you always have, little things like food that you always have. What's gonna happen, man? When you ain't got no fucking food, man, and you're starving out here for 2 or 3 days, you're gonna have some fucking discipline. Either that, or you're gonna snap and you're gonna eat somebody. People are gonna be your fucking meal. That's gonna be your burger, man. Like, there's no fucking discipline, man. There's no discipline, man. People gonna bug out, man. We don't need the Lord, so we don't fucking bug the hell out. You can feel it in the air. That's what Big Pun said, right? I can feel it. Ready for war. Yeah, ready for war, man. You gotta fast, man. You gotta fast, you gotta pray, you gotta discipline yourselves, man. Got a lot of our people, they're not disciplined, man. That's why when this shit goes down, it's gonna be nasty, bro. Narcissistic spirit, man, it's gonna be destroyed, man. This narcissistic spirit, it's gonna be done away with. I can't wait, man, 'cause I'm tired of this shit. This narcissistic spirit, like somebody, like the whole world owes you something. Like it's the world's responsibility to feed you, man. That's why that silver spoon is gonna come right off, man. You know? Something big is going down. And Jake don't have a clue what's about to go down. They don't have a fucking clue what's about to go down, man. They don't have a fucking clue, man. Up to build up. The building to what? The kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, man. The kingdom. And it's right around the corner. You can feel it, man. We at that time. Worse out here, man. gross darkness, man. This world is gross darkness, man. The only ones that can see what's happening are the Israelites. Something, man. Gross darkness, man. Gross darkness, man. Darkness. They say about that Philly shoe, what they were saying in the news, gross darkness, darkness, gross darkness. Does not the scripture say we're battling with spiritual wickedness in high places? We're battling with spiritual wickedness in high places. Demonic forces, entities. At the end of this thing, man, it's death all around, man. Even when you're driving, you gotta pray to the Lord. Hopefully that you go home to your destination safely, man. You don't know what the fuck can happen. You know what I'm saying? Most I can send a truck, and it's not saying it's ultimately the Most High that does it. You know. Back to these crisis actors, man. It's beautiful how the Lord is revealing all. Lifting Esau's skirt with that whole false flag shooting, man. You have cops putting on fake blood. That's a conspiracy, man. Why are they doing all of that? Why? They're doing all that for a reason. There's a reason why they're doing all of that. It's to come at you tribes, man. It's to come at you tribes. Come at you tribes, man. That's really what it's for. To come at you tribes, man. It's to declare war on you. Because you're the special people, man. You're the special people, man. You're the one that got the covenant of the adoption. You. Esau knows that. But Esau's job is to stop you from that, man. You know? You're at the end of this thing, though, man. Esau losing his witchcraft. He's losing his power. the spirit of prophecies is coming out, man. That's why we got to stay occupied in prophecies. We have to stay occupied in prophecies, man. Occupied in prophecies, man. That's what we're supposed to be in. You know? Not occupied in the ways of this world, the things of this world. That's what Esau wants, for you to be in tune in this world, because you can't see the bullshit that he's doing. You can't see the wickedness that Esau is doing, man. You can't see the witchcraft that he's doing. You know? You can't see the bullshit that he's doing. You can't see the wickedness that he's doing. The witchcraft and the sorcery. You know? But we're at the end, man. We're at the end. The Lord is showing himself more and more every day, man. He's showing himself more and more every day. You know? For the ones that are seeking the Lord. Truth and sincerity. To that time, man. People reported to have contract the West Nile virus in California. Yeah, it's getting there, man. There's a lot of wickedness going on. There's a lot of wickedness, a lot of evil going on. Shit, even getting to work and coming home to work is just a fucking demonic, man. Even getting to work and going home to work, man, it's fucking bullshit, man. You go home, you gotta deal with fucking traffic, and it's fucking 2 hours to get home, 2 hours to go home, 2 hours to get to work. That's a fucking part-time job right there, man. You don't even get paid for that. You know what I'm saying? You don't even get paid for that. You know? You don't even get paid for that. It's a fucking part-time job. Going to work is 2 hours. Getting there is 2 hours. You know, 2 hours to go home, and then you're stuck in fucking traffic. You know, that fucking hamster wheel. That's how you know this place is just like, it's just oppression, yo. It's really oppression. That's why, but it's beautiful, because once you know this, you understand now why things are the way they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have understanding now. So it's like, all right, I understand why things are the way they are. It's like that because we're in Babylon. You know, we in Babylon, and it's prophesied that this place is going to be destroyed. You know? At that time, man. That's why the ones of us in this truth, man, gotta really hunker down in the spirit, man. You can feel it in the air. Me, I feel it, man. I feel this destruction's coming. This destruction's coming, man. You know, this destruction's coming, man. It's coming, man. It's gonna be ill real soon out here. It's gonna be very, very ill out here, man. It's gonna be some ill ass shit out here. Time though, man. Close to that time, man. Famine of the word, man. They're already attacking. They're already attacking the truth, man. They're already attacking the truth, man. Truth is going to prevail, man. Truth is and will prevail. Thus saith the Lord. Truth is going to prevail, man. And Esau is going down. It's the truth, man. The truth is we're rising up to who we are. And Esau, you already had your time. You had your fucking time. Now we're going down. Esau's in his Jacob's beginning. You had your time to rule and you fucked everything up. Talk about you Edomites, man. You elites that's controlling the society. You ruled and you fucked everything up. So now you're going down. Now you're going down, man. What the fuck is the problem? Everybody goes down. Everybody has their, you know, everybody has a chance to rule. You know? And now's our chance to rule, man. It's our chance to rule, man. It's our chance to come into rulership. You know? It's our time, man. You already had your time, Esau. You had your fucking time. Now it's our time. Alright? You had your time. And now you're going down. You know? We're giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I'm going to wrap it up, Lord one. The kingdom of heaven is nigh. Stay strong. Esau's going down. Jacob's rising up. From Yasha'Allah to the kingdom of heaven is nigh. Repent. So Israelites out there to hear his word and get right with the Lord, man. Repent, follow law, statute, commandments, and teach each other to do so as well. Pray for one another and be merciful and be charitable. Charity wipe away a multitude of sins. You know, we got to come together as a people, and the elect are going to come together under the King of Kings, Yahweh Shai, man. You know, the Holy Spirit is reviving back the tabernacle of David that has fallen, the exceeding great army that's being risen back up. You know, we're all going through fucking hell. We're all going through shit. You know, we're all going through our own thing, man. You know, but you know what's for the betterment, and with the hell that you catch and the persecution you catch, take it cheerfully, because guess what, real soon you're gonna know. You think you're catching hell now? Wait till this shit hits the fan, and then you're really gonna know what hell is. You're gonna know what hell is real soon. You think you're catching hell now? Wait till this economy collapse. You ain't got no food for days, no water for days. You know, shit's still running. You know, shit's still running. But real soon, when shit hits the fucking fan, when you ain't got no food, and there's riots out here, you ain't got no food for 2-3 days because you haven't ate, and the Lord's testing you to see what you made of, then that's hell. That's fucking pure hell, man. You know? But the elect are gonna make it because the Lord gonna protect and shield his elect, man. And his servants gonna eat in that day. My servants gonna eat, they shall hunger. So stay strong. Shalom.